Hosted in conjunction with Chris Media, the CEO interview series allows investors to hear directly from the CEOs leading the companies featured on Wholesale Investor. Enjoy the interview and reach out via the details in the description.
Hi, and welcome to another Crisp TV Q&A. Today, I'm joined by Richard Grainger, co-founder at BK Enterprises. Thank you for joining me, Richard.
Thanks for having me, Rhythm.
Amazing. Now, just to get started and to set us on the right course today, could you give us an overview of BK Enterprises and your value proposition to the market?
Yep, so BK Enterprises are a green mining company that focuses on resourcing through a circular economy process. And that's really around reclaiming abandoned mine sites that are polluting our environments and recycling the waste material into base and precious metals initially and remediating the sites back to as much of a natural state as possible. And so that's using some technologies that we have, some proprietary technology, and also working with universities to develop up that tech as well.
Amazing. Now, let us break this down a little. So can you talk to us about the problem that was firstly identified in the market and what motivated the founding team to work on this?
Look, motivation was really environmentally focused. And the problem is sort of two-pronged in a way. There's over 52,000 abandoned mines in Australia, and to varying degrees, they're causing contamination to our environment. The other situation that we have is, mining's really become a dirty word, and we're seeing that where banking's not really lending to mining projects anymore. And it creates a conundrum because in order to move forward into a sustainable, renewable future, we're going to be much more reliant on base metals, rare earths, all of that sort of thing for a carbon neutral future. And so, like say for instance, copper, the demand for copper, we're going to use more copper in the next 20 years than we have in the last 5,000. And that's for things like EVs, for wind turbines, which, one wind turbine's 4.5 tonnes of copper. So, how do we then extract and recover these resources without leaving a detrimental impact on the environment? So that was the problems that we really identified, and that was where BK Enterprises saw the ability to sort of tap into all of these abandoned mine sites and recover and recycle those resources through a circular economy process.
Amazing. Now, absolutely. I think the timing is very impeccable with, the environment needs that, and you are, addressing this problem. Now, can you talk to us about the market response? How has that been for you? And then also, if you could also talk to us about the key clients and what is in the pipeline.
Yeah. So we're early stage startup. So we had the initial seed funding came from investors who were very environmentally focused. So we raised around 1.2 million in the initial funding round. And that enabled us to purchase the 2 tenements that we own at the moment. One is the Sunny Corner site and the other is the Broula King processing facility. And so in terms of after that, and we'd acquired those assets, it's really been about the support that we've got from New South Wales state government in particular, and some of the federal government support that we're getting. And really because what we're trying to do is disrupt that old traditional mining model and move it to a much more circular economy type model. The traction that we're getting there with the government support has been really good. And that's where you see our recent talks that we've had with New South Wales government. They love what we're doing, and they've sort of gone, we've got a funding round coming up, and that's around our critical mineral strategy. We actually tick every single box of their objectives. So that's been really encouraging.
Amazing, that's great. So now let us break the technology a little bit further at BK Enterprises. So it would be great if you could talk to us a bit more about that, and then also how does the process actually work?
So look, You're kind of delving into the Colonel Secret Spices a little bit, so I won't tell you exactly. But actually, I'm not even able to explain how exactly the minutiae of it. But the technology really, it's innovations in proven technology of mining beneficiation processes that have gone on for the whole human history of mining really. And what we've done is really innovate the technology up to modern standards, and that enables us to better recover waste materials. In the 1800s, in the gold rush times, they were recovering things in a more crude kind of manner, and leaving a lot of that waste material behind that had a lot of these base and precious metal resources, even rare earths in them. So we're going through a commercialisation process of that IP and technology. Some of it's through our work with Deakin University in terms of further developing that technology that we could then apply it to REEs as well, and see how we can better recover some of those from the waste materials as well. And so I guess, does that answer it?
Yeah, definitely. That does give even for the audience today watching it, like an overview into the technology that went behind BK Enterprises. Now I want to talk to you about the competitors that you have in the market. So can you tell us, what is your differentiating factor and what makes you unique in the market when we compare you to the other competitors?
So, and I guess going back to the previous question, what I didn't quite answer was that we're focused on polymetallic recovery. So, a lot of mines, they focus on gold only or copper only. And what we're doing is the technology, it enables us to more efficiently and more cheaply recover polymetallic. So that might be gold, silver, zinc, lead, a whole bunch of different metals from the one site. And so we've seen there is one other company that we've seen is doing polymetallic recovery. I'm not sure what their processes are. But apart from that, it's pretty unique, and especially in terms of our model around the centralised processing facility, the centralised processing hub. That's definitely the first of its kind for New South Wales. We've got, and going back to traction as well, we've been approached by other ASX mining juniors about being able to process do toll processing at our facility as well. So where we can that's quite unique, and there's not really many others that are doing it in that kind of process, and certainly with the focus on abandoned mine sites, that's really unique.
Yeah, that's a unique factor.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, let's just talk about the team, because that is very fundamental to every business. So can you tell us what skill set do they bring to the table?
Yeah. So, look, me personally, I have no expertise in mining. I'm an entrepreneur who saw the value in the environmental benefits. But the team that we've got is really experienced in mining. We've got a mine manager, Peter, he's 40 years in metallurgy and mineral processing, managing mining mining processing facilities. So we've got him on board as our mine manager. We've got the team who have developed up the technology, and they've done it at scale, both overseas and here in Australia with some of the testing that we've done at independent laboratories. And then we've got Daryl Young, who's our CEO. And Daryl's got a real expertise in commercialisation of IP. That's what he's done. So he had a business that worked with CSIRO a few years ago in developing up, it was gene cropping technology, and they commercialised that and they built that up into a business with a $25 million a year turnover. And then we've got, like I said, we've got Tombia, who's our other mine manager, who has worked very intimately with the technology and developing that up overseas. We've got several advisors who are really experienced. One's an ASX CEO, has been in mining for 35 years. And we've got town planners and regulatory compliance experts who were formerly mine inspectors and mine regulators. So yeah, it's a good team, good experienced team.
Amazing. So I believe everything seems to be aligning in terms of, you know, your the team that is and the product. So now, and this will be the final question for today, Richard. So for the prospective investors looking at this interview, what should they be excited to see with BK Enterprises over the next 6 to 12 months? Like, what does the roadmap look like?
Yeah, it's really exciting. Anybody who understands mining in Australia understands what a difficult process the regulatory process is. And we've sort of really worked through all of that in the last 2 years, really, 18 months to 2 years. So we're at a point now where we are push, start, go. We're ready to, as soon as we get the funding in, we can start recommissioning the processing plant. And within 6 months, 6 to 7 months, we should be processing gold from the site, from our historical tailings that are on the site. And that puts us into a cash flow positive position within 12 months. So that's really exciting.
Very exciting. Well, firstly, congratulations on your achievements to date, and I wish you all the luck with your venture. For anyone who's interested to speak with Richard or his team, you please see the details at the side of the screen, and we will also have it in the description. Thank you, Richard, for joining me in an interview, and again, for sharing your insights for BK Enterprises.
Thanks very much for having me, Rhythm.
Thank you.
Cheers.